gonna walk you through how I make my homemade tomato sauce. Since I'm growing tomatoes this year, obviously I've got to have plans for what I'm gonna do with what I harvest. So one of the things I use a lot is tomato sauce, just tomatoes in cooking in general. So I'm making a batch of homemade tomato sauce. I'll season it up just with some standard spices, and then as I use it for various meals, I'll add whatever additional seasonings I need. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, we'd love to have you join our little YouTube family here by subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you make your own homemade tomato sauce, if you make your own homemade tomato sauce, or what dishes you use tomato sauce for. So here we go with some homemade tomato sauce. So I'm going to core these tomatoes. I just have an assortment of tomatoes here. And I'm going to do them in the slow cooker in the crock pot, so I don't have to peel them. I don't have to do any of that first. So we're just going to get all of these cored, and some of the bigger ones I might chop them up a little bit. Otherwise, they just go into the crock pot whole. And then I'll season them up and let them cook all day. And then they'll go into the freezer. Well, in batches. I'll put batches in the freezer. But some of these that have some bad spots on them, cut the bad spots off. Good way to get rid of tomatoes or use up tomatoes without having to throw them all away. Alright, so I'm going to finish doing the coring of these tomatoes, and I'll be back when I've got them all in the crock pot. Okay, so to my tomatoes, I'm going to add some sea salt, no, I don't really measure anything. I'm going to put a little onion powder in there. Most of the dishes that I use, or that I need tomato sauce for, are spaghetti, taco meat. We'll put a little pepper in there. So the seasonings that I'm going to use are the seasonings I would use for those dishes. And then I can add other seasonings when I prepare the dishes. And we'll put a little garlic powder. Take this up here. I like garlic in everything. And after this cooks a little while, I'll do my finger taste test to decide about whether or not it needs more seasoning. So let's get this going. We're going to cook it on high. I'm going to let it go for 8.5 hours to start. I'll be stirring it off and on throughout the day, and again, once this has broken down a little bit, so that there's kind of a juice or a broth to work with, I'll do my finger taste test to see if I need to add more seasoning. Alright, we're going to give them a stir and a taste. I think I put those on about 8:40 this morning, so we're at about 4 hours now of the 8.5 or so that I have the crock pot set for. So I haven't added any water to these. This is just the juice coming off of the tomatoes. It's broken up a little bit. Obviously, as they cook more, they will break down enough that all I have to do is stir them around and they'll come apart. I'm steaming up my lens, aren't I? Alright, that's going to be too hot to stick my finger in it. So we'll taste the spoon. Mmm. Oh yes, that's nice. So I'm gonna have a nice tomato sauce here to use in my recipes, and I'll put it in small containers, or let it cool and put it in Ziploc bags even. That might be easier. And it'll then go in the freezer for me to just take out as I need it. Alright, so it's coming along. We got another 4 or 5 hours to go, so I'll be back. Alright, we're on about 9 hours here. It's looking good, it smells good. Right down a little bit more. Just using my potato masher. Let it go about another hour, and then we'll start the cool down. Okay, so I'm going to get these portioned out. Obviously, I can use as many or as few bags at a time as I need. That's probably 6 ounces or so right there. And I'm going to want these to freeze flat, just because they'll take up less space in the freezer that way. And then they'll thaw out faster. So I'm just going to fill my bags and get these put in this other big Tupperware container so they'll stay nice and flat while they're freezing. Then I can take them out of the Tupperware container once they're frozen. Alright, so I'm down to the last little bit here. I don't think it's quite 2 scoops of sauce, but it's close. It might be 2 scoops. It feels pretty close. Yeah, that looks the same. Alright, so we're gonna put these in the freezer, and that is my batch of homemade tomato sauce. Alright, and there we sit in the freezer. Easy peasy. Alright, so that's how I do it. Obviously, it's going to take a little while for those to freeze. I will probably put some of the packages in the chest freezer just so they'll stay preserved a little longer. But for now, they're just sitting in the kitchen refrigerator so that they can do the first part of the freezing process. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving it a watch. As always, be safe, be happy, be blessed, and be well. I'd love to all from RichKatRanch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.